Sonya and Sasha, for real.
Listen to BRIMBANK Live on Live FM. This is the Sonya and Sasha for real show. We're back for another big, exciting show. Sash, how you going?
Oh, I am excited. I've got something for you, Sonya. Oh, I've got something for you.
Tell me, what is it? I need some excitement in my life.
Okay, so you like lollies, right?
Love lollies.
Love lollies. Okay, so the other day on Instagram, I brought these little pack of, they're called Weathers or something. Weathers or?
Werthers.
I don't even know what they're called.
Yes.
Right? And I bought them from Aldi.
Butterscotch lollies.
Yeah, and they've got no sugar. I bought them one day, bought them the next day, bought them the next day. So 3 days I'm in Aldi last week, which really shows I've got a big life, okay? My son gets in the car and says, Mum, what are you doing eating these? Old people only eat these.
Oh.
I'm like, really? Old people? I had no idea that there was a lolly consumption of age.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, let's see. I was, a couple of days it was going by. I was looking at it thinking, I started to feel a little bit embarrassed. I thought maybe someone might look in my car and go, oh, this is an old person's car.
It's a grandma.
Like
a grandma drives this car.
Grandma's
yeah.
driving it or something, or somebody might see me and then start to judge me on my lolly consumption.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And wonder where your cardigan is. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So what I did was I took a photo of it and I put it on my social media. I am not joking, nuts with people's opinions. People's opinions on whether it was an old person's lolly. I could not believe it that something like this could spark so much interest. There were so many young people that ate this lolly.
Oh, they do. Okay, so it's not an old. What was the consensus of opinion after that? Was it an old person's lolly or a young person? I can't believe this is how we start the show. By the way,
lolly. It's classified, I'd say, as an all-rounder. There was only a few people that went, I completely agree with your kids, and they were strong. Like they were not going to let it go. But it came back that this old person's lolly really is almost a teenage lolly. Okay. I don't know. Do they know this? Do they know that? I've done some market research. So what I thought I would do is so Fast Game's a good game, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to name a lolly to you and you need to quickly give me a snapshot of the kind of person you think is going to buy it and eat it.
Okay.
You up for it?
All right. I am so ready for this.
We're going to start light. We're going to start light.
Make me hungry. Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go hard. Okay.
All right, ready?
We're going to go.
Thank you. You're listening to the Sonya and Sasha for Real show, and I'm about to have the quiz of my lifetime. I'm under pressure. This is the name that person who's going to eat that lolly.
Name that person. Okay, old, young, male, female. Like if you think they've got a vibe, whatever. Okay. Orange Tic Tacs. Orange Tic Tacs.
Orange Tic Tac. That's a 5-year-old in the supermarket with sticky hands and begging me to put that in the basket.
Okay, butter menthols.
Butter menthols. Old person in a car that's got a slight sneeze. Driving to Aldi. In a Volvo.
Blue Mentos.
Blue Mentos is a professional speaker who's had a bit of a hard week and had a lot of gigs to speak at and needs a bit of lubrication of the vocal cords before they get out on the stage. May or may not have red hair, just saying.
Lifesavers.
Volkswagen, surfboard, dirty hair, puts that in before they kiss the cute surfy boy.
Okay. All right. Fisherman's friend.
Fisherman's friend?
Yeah.
I think you're dead if you're eating fisherman's friends.
Okay, fruit and nut Cadbury
that's the
chocolate.
lolly you give somebody that they're trying to bring them back to life. I mean, if they're already dead and you chuck one of those in their mouth and they spring back because it's so potent.
It's like the that tablet that you give someone when they've had a heart attack and you put it under the tongue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A bit of aspirin under the tongue. That's like the lolly version of aspirin heart palpitation. It's a defibrillator in a lolly. That's what it is.
Okay, fruit and nut Cadbury.
That's me. Oh, that's me. I have that in my fridge currently and at all times.
Wagon wheels.
Wagon wheels is like a lunchbox kind of deal. It's a lunchbox. It's a kid. It could be anywhere between 5 and 15.
Okay. All right. A Twix. Who buys a Twix?
No one buys a Twix. What the hell are you doing?
All right, drumsticks, vanilla
Twix is from a
drumstick ice cream.
Seinfeld. Twix is from a Seinfeld episode where the mechanic, George, is trying to get something out of the machine. He wants a Twix bar. He's starving. He can't stand it. He's starving. He wants a Twix bar. He puts the money in. The Twix comes to within a centimetre of its life and just hangs on the machine. It doesn't come out.
That. Yes,
and then the mechanic comes in and steals the Twix and shoves that little Twix in his mouth and walks away with a little jaunty walk.
So mechanics.
Mechanics eat Twixes.
Okay.
That they've stolen from George Costanza.
Vanilla drumsticks.
Oh, vanilla drumsticks.
Can I say you just went a little bit extra going,
I think that is a 45-year-old woman who's on holidays in Sorrento that's trying to bring back a bit of youth.
Oh, strawberries and cream.
Strawberries and cream is, that's a...
Oh, you tended to. That was a little bit of not. Memories.
I do like a strawberries and cream. That's the lolly that I eat when I'm tricking myself into that. It's a better alternative than fruit and nut chocolate for my diet currently.
All right, lolly gobble bliss bombs.
No one. They're disgusting. Who would you don't mess with popcorn. Listen to me and listen to me good. You don't mess with popcorn. You don't share popcorn. You don't put stuff on popcorn other than butter and salt, and you serve it at Hoyt's or Village. You do not mess with popcorn. That's my final word on that.
Oreos.
Oreos is pinstripe suit, in America in Target where there's 700 different forms of Oreos. I don't know why pinstripe suit. I just don't know.
Soothers. I say soothers and I need to cough. COVID comes through my body. Soothers. That's bizarre. Like if you can say the word soothers and you need to cough, like that is the effect that soothers have on you.
Old person. Soothers, old person lolly. Okay. Cardigan.
Peanut brittle.
Oh. That's somebody who's got dentures and doesn't give a crap about their teeth.
Hubba bubbas.
Hubba bubba. Oh, well, that reminds me of your seminars because you do hubba bubba tricks with all the students. So, yeah, that's a teenagers.
All right.
Teenagers go.
Chubba chubs.
Chubba chubs for everybody. Everybody loves a chubba chub. What are you talking about?
I know. Crunchies.
Crunchies, that's my daughter's favourite thing in the world, crunchies. That is also sore tongue. So sore tongue. Crunchy means a sore tongue because when you suck the chocolate off and your tongue gets into the honeycomb bits, it scratches your tongue a little bit. So anyone with a sore tongue.
All right. Caramello koala bears.
Oh, that's a school, that's a sell it for $1 to raise money for your school, primary school students.
Oh, okay. And I'm going to say the Wrigley's 5 gum, the blue.
I don't even know what that is. What does it taste like? What's it got?
Well, it looks like, can I just say, it looks like a packet of condoms. Am I allowed to say condoms? Looks like, well, I guess so.
You're allowed to say it.
For me, that's a male chewing gum that you get in the dashboard and you go there and you're like, he's ready for it tonight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're right. Okay, now.
And what happens if you mix up your condoms and your chewing gum and you just take the wrong one out of the wrapper?
You're in trouble. Or a disease, that's what you get, right?
But you got really bad breath. But very fresh breath, very fresh breath.
Okay. I want to ask you this now. You're on a date. Okay, yes. You go on a date.
Yes.
You got to imagine this.
Let's go back back in the day. Back in the day.
No. This is now. You go on a date.
Oh, right?
He picks you up.
Yeah.
No, he's a rando, new guy.
Oh, okay, rando. Right? Okay, yeah.
You go on a date with a new guy. He picks you up for dinner.
Yes.
You get in the car and he's got a packet, like a container of Wrigley's extra but strawberry flavour. Do you continue on the date or do you get out? That's what I want to know. Strawberry flavour.
You run for the hills.
What do you do?
You run. Chewing gum is mint. It's minty. It's meant to freshen up your breath. You don't muck around with it. It's like
I'm
popcorn.
talking about
you don't mess around with it.
A male.
That's okay.
Males.
Hey, I'm all for males having any flavour and rainbow colours and whatever. There's no gender. It's all fluid. I don't care. But that's a little bit. Don't mess. What I'm saying, don't mess with chewing gum. Chewing gum is to mint up your breath.
Oh.
You have that cinnamon crapola. I don't know what the hell. I can't even
love a
remember.
good
The cinnamon
cinnamon.
chewing gum is disgusting. Anyway, I've got a I loved your game. Thank you.
Did
Thank
you like
for
your game?
letting. I did like that. I
Just
really
say,
like
that
it.
was very, very fast. You were very good in thinking of all of those things.
Okay.
Out of all those, which one would you buy? You're in a servo. What are you buying?
I would buy I'd buy the chewing gum probably. Yeah, I'd buy the chewy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not the strawberry.
I don't mind it. And a strawberries and cream. I do like a strawberries and cream.
Yeah,
like every
that
now
was
and
the
then I'll
one
get a
you
bit
just went like this,
nostalgic.
Strawberries and
it
cream.
is.
That
It
made
brings
you
me
think
good
of a
memories.
nice time of your life, did it?
When I was single, I used to have a Monday night, which was a trashy mag night, and I would buy all the trashy mags and buy lollies and sit on my bed living my best single life, and I would eat stacks of junk food, and I would often have a strawberries and cream. So that does remind me of a nice little moment.
Time in your life.
Well, I had no one busting my chops, no children.
Yeah.
700 times an hour.
This
like
is how
we do.
we
But
do
we
in
love our
COVID.
children.
We play games.
I've got a question for you, which is along the lines of your is it old or is it not?
Yeah.
There's a thing trending on the internet right now, and it is if apparently this generation of young people coming up, the Gen Is and the Gen Zs and the believe that if you have your hair parted to the side and you wear skinny jeans, you're old. What is your opinion about that, Miss
How
Sasha?
skinny are the jeans? How skinny are the jeans?
Just a skinny, anything that's not like
And how
not like a
parted?
wide leg and a mum boyfriend
That you're
kind of
old.
jean. Side to the side, like mine is currently right now, parted to the side.
Oh, no, that's not a part. That's just it's flipped over. It's not classified. Like I'm a to the side, but it's not like a direct line.
Yeah. Well, apparently they look at us and go, look at that chick,
Well,
side
I
part,
probably-
skinny jeans, she's old.
Yeah, I would probably say I don't like the skinny jeans look.
I'd say take your judgment and stick it in your Wrigley's chewing gum packet.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I don't like it. I wear skinny jeans and I have a side part, so
Is that why
apparently
you
I'm
said
old.
that?
Love it. Did you think when you were like 17 or 18 that 30 was really old? Did you think that?
That 30 was – no, I didn't think that 30 was old, but I certainly thought that the age that we are, which is 23 and a half, I
Is
thought
old.
that our age was
Yes.
old. Like, we're pushing nearly – I know you don't want me to say it, do you?
No, we're not saying it. We're not pushing anything. So that's my thing that I'm going to need therapy for the most as the years go by, Sash, is I'm not very good with the whole aging process. You understand that, right?
Well, I'm not good with the weight
that.
process, so,
Well, we're a perfect
together,
couple.
I mean, when I first heard of lockdown 35 coming, I straight away wanted to do a drive-through just to suppress the emotions.
Oh, same.
What did
oh, my
everybody
God.
else do?
The only thing that got me through last time was sourdough bread. Big slabs of
you
it.
do.
And that
You
was
do a good sourdough bread with some bolognese sauce. You do that good with chili flakes. I like that when you do that.
You've just sparked something. I have some of that in my fridge right now. I might need to
Do
whip
you?
down to the Italian bread place and get some of it. But I tell you what, that's a
With some
slippery slope. Once you
strawberries
start
and
on that, slippery
With some
slope once you
strawberries and
start.
cream.
You're in big trouble. All right. We've got a great big show.
Yes, we do have a show. And do you know what we're going to probably bring in our show next week?
What?
Our therapist. That's exciting.
Yes, I know. I know.
bring
She
our
won't
own
tell you any of our secrets, but she'll tell you
not.
what to do when you have
She'll
issues
tell
like
you that
ours.
I've got fat issues. That's what she'll tell you.
She'll tell you we've got many, many issues, many issues. Anyway, today's show, who have we got on? Very exciting. Our friend, beautiful Jacob McCoy from the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean,
Very, very
who do we hang out with, Sash? We hang out with some pretty cool people,
Very cool
don't
people.
we? So he's going to tell us about
got a
the
great
inside. Oh, he's such a beautiful man. And he's got the inside information as to what happened in the NBA bubble and what it's like hanging out with the Milwaukee people, like the superstars, the number one draft pick, Giannis Antetokounmpo, my son's idol. So we're talking with him. We've got the beautiful Greg Vale, who is an accountant. Mm-hmm. He looks like James Bond a bit,
Now,
don't you reckon?
you normally would say, oh, there's an accountant on, it's going to be boring. Not at all. This
Not
guy
at all.
is fabulous. He's cool.
He's exciting.
He looks damn hot in a suit. Like,
He looks
good in
really
everything. But he's got
good.
this great hair. He's really, really cool guy.
Yeah, and he's going to tell us about what to do with our finances and how to make sure that we are okay in this uncertain world at the moment. And he's got some really good information about that. And we have Peter Bowl, who is an Olympic runner.
Yeah.
I mean, do we bring you the goods or what?
/ Aussie Olympic runner.
Sudanese/Aussie, who actually did run at the Rio Olympics and was supposed to run in the Tokyo Olympics, which, of course, what happened? COVID happened.
And we
So see
really
you
want to
later.
know how people deal with the disappointment of stuff going wrong with COVID, something like that. I mean, that you're working, I mean, our careers fell apart, you know, with COVID. So, but how does someone who's been training for this one moment, and then that moment gets taken away, and then we just don't know, like, when is Tokyo going to happen? Because they keep saying it's going to happen, it's not going to happen, it's, you know, da-da-da-da-da. It's kind of like the masks in Victoria. We've got them on, we've got them off, on, off.
Yeah,
so it's really good.
So big show. So we've got basketball, finances and running, and we've just talked about food. I think that's all we need in our lives right now, yes?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, we'll see you after the break. You're listening to BRIMBANK Live on Live FM. This is the Sonya and Sacha For Real show, and we are so happy you're spending your day with us.
Sonya and Sacha, For Real.
You're listening to BRIMBANK Live on Live FM. This is the Sonya and Sacha For Real show, and we have such a special guest who is so excited about this one, Sacha, aren't we? This is Jacob McCoy.
So much about this guy. He changed your life. Like, this was like maximum excitement for you.
He literally did. He changed the life of my whole family. And so, all right, let me do the intro. I know Sacha's heard this story a million gazillion times. Sorry, because I say it a lot.
No. Tell me, it excites me still, the fact that I keep getting to hear it, because I can't believe we're actually in front of you, this guy that made my friends so happy.
I know. This was like another level of happiness. So a long time ago, my husband started following a player called Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he is a Greek basketball player, and he was really young, and he was such a superstar when he was really young. So he was following. And so because he was following him, he made our son, Christian, who is also a basketball player, junior coming up, you know, plays for the Melbourne Tigers in rep basketball. And we do everything for our children, don't we, Sash? So we worked our butts off, and we took the boys on a surprise trip to Milwaukee to the Forum fight. How do you say it?
The Pfizer Forum
Stadium in Milwaukee, on the same night that Donald Trump had a rally going, which was really weird. And then
it was the same night.
It was the same night. Yep. So we were all blocked down, and our mobile phones weren't working and stuff. So we rocked up to the stadium, and we told my son, we don't think that we can get into the game. It's sold out, but we might be able to go there and get some merchandise or something. So we took, and he was a little bit disappointed, but still excited to see all the stuff. So we got to the stadium, and my husband pulls out his phone and gets the tickets and clicks us in, and Christian nearly fainted on the spot. Like, he just could not believe that we were going to see his idol, his team at Milwaukee at the stadium. So we go through, and not only did we take him to the game, we were also we got him a box. So we sat courtside next to the go. So, and you know what we like to do, Sash? We love to give our children experiences to make them realise that it is possible. And so when he was walking into that stadium, he's a few metres from his idol, and we're like, he's just over there, mate. You just got to work your butt off, and you could be just right next to that man right there. This is how it's done, right? Get this feeling. If you want this in your life, this is what you need to work towards. And that child did not stop smiling the entire night. And then we had the opportunity to meet. My husband just said to this guy who was near where we were,
sitting right behind you.
Love your fro, brother. And because Jacob's got this mad fro. And all of a sudden we had this great chat going on with this beautiful man called Jacob, and he is with us today. He's from the Milwaukee Bucks. He's a freelance event producer. He's a camera utility man. He's a social media administrator king, and he's with us today from the Milwaukee Bucks. Mr. Jacob McCoy, welcome to the show.
It is such a pleasure to be here. I'm so happy to see your face. Oh my goodness.
Gorgeous.
That night, that is one of the absolute highlights of my career thus far. And I think for the remainder of my career, it will remain a highlight.
You are just
the light that your boys' faces had when I was able to bring those t-shirts and those plush toys. Oh my goodness. It was
you know what? We started chatting, and then every 5 minutes, Jacob would come back and give them something else. I mean, these boys, it was like they were in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something. Like everything, they turned around and everything was just made of, like merchandise
Milwaukee
and
Santa.
Milwaukee Santa. My little son went in and went, oh, okay, we're going to a basketball game. This is for Christian. Christian gets everything, And then he was standing up. My son, my little one, who was 6 at the time, was standing like 10 minutes later, standing on a seat with a ice cream sundae in one hand and 7 pieces of merchandise in the other hand, going, Mom, this is lit. This is the best night of my life,
And not only were you guys so close to the court, you were so close to the tunnel where all of the dancers and all of the cannons and everything is just coming out, and you're just a few meters away from it. So you guys really got the prime experience.
Well, we got the full deal, and and we just turned around and started chatting with you, and you were just so friendly and so interested in hearing about where we were from and what we were doing, and then you just you introduced the boys to the MC, you to the dancers, to the fireworks people, and then they were on. I call it the Megatron, but it is not a Megatron. I understand that's from Transformers. It's the Jumbotron. So got that one wrong.
The Jumbotron or the big screen.
Yeah, the big screen. And oh my gosh, what a night. And it was because of you, Jacob, that we had the most amazing time. And so, I just wanted to keep in contact with you because your energy was just incredible. So how did this all start? How did you begin? Job? Yeah.
All right. So after my father got out of the Air Force in the late 80s. He was in the United States Air Force doing videography and photography.
Oh, wow.
So he decided to just follow his path because he had fallen in love with it. So what he did was he went to he went to a community college here in Milwaukee. And out of all of that, he ended up with a freelance company that ended up working at, before it was the Forum, it was the Bradley Center. So he's been working there since about the early 90s. And he also has been working with several freelance companies, one of which gave me my first big gig, Mind Pool. And we shoot all kinds of festivals and concerts, corporate events, any and every sport you can think of. I mean, from golf to basketball to rugby to volleyball, we shoot it all across everything. And so about 3 years ago, I guess you could say I was nepotized into the business. I had to go to school for a couple of years for it, and after that, I can actually remember the day and the date and the time when I got the call from my director over at Mindpool. I was in an editing class, and I get the call and I leave the room, and he's like, "Would you like to come work with us at the Forum?" And I almost ran out of school then.
You should have run out of school. That's awesome.
And ever since September 17th, 2018, I have officially been a member of the Mindpool organization and of the Bucks family. And as I was telling you, Sonya, the Bucks recently brought us all on as full-time employees for the team. So they've relegated me to some social media responsibilities and some editing things. And until things really open back up here in America, I'll just be working for the team from home.
So do you have to pinch yourself every time somebody asks you, what do you do for a job? And then you just say, well, this is what I do. Do you have to kind of go, oh, my God, this is what I do? Like, is there a little voice in your head that goes, are you serious? Is this your resume?
This is my real job, yes. And back when the world was open, I would have to pinch myself several times nightly. Like we'd be out on the court, and I'm standing here, and as close as this laptop is to me, I'd be like, wow, that's LeBron James.
Yeah.
And I'd have to just keep my composure. And you have to remain as professional, as critical as possible, because one slip of that cable, one missed angle, and it's a ruined show.
Oh my gosh. So there's
What
some
an
serious
amazing-
pressure on you because
Yes.
I mean, you're talking about dealing with some of the most amazing sporting people in the world. And we want to
And
see all those angles.
musicians as
And
well. I've been on
yeah.
stage with Justin Bieber, Billie
Oh my
Eilish,
God.
Hanson.
Hanson.
Yes.
My God.
Oh
I
yes.
heard-
God.
yes.
Jacob.
Yeah,
So you've got all of these. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there with the camera trying not to bob along with that. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to talk to you, Jacob. There's a problem with the stillness of your footage. There's a problem. What's going on with you?
Is there
No.
Because you're grieving too much. You're grieving too much when you're filming.
Stop moving. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
You got all going on.
I have been told to stop dancing before. That has happened.
Oh, well, you know what? The joy in you is just so evident. And so what is it like when you're standing next to, walking into that stadium for us and just being a couple of meters away from Giannis doing doing his dance moves for the warm up and the whoa,
Yes.
and, all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
I mean, sorry, that was so white girl. But he, that's just a nightly occurrence for you. And you would have all these stories, this background, what goes on behind the scenes.
Yes. You find yourself becoming almost a little immune to being in these people's presence. Like you almost look at them. People, we tend to look at celebrities as deities. They're just hardworking people. So you just have to realize he's performing his craft. She's performing her craft just as you are yours. And hers is the performance. Yours is making it look as perfect as possible. And then when you can get past that barrier of initial celebrity status, you sometimes find yourself opening up dialogue with these people and picking their brains, and you get an appreciation for watching these people perform their craft at such a high level. So sometimes that will bring me back down to earth. But I mean, when I'm standing on stage with Justin Bieber, I'm still, that's still Justin Bieber. That's still Hanson. It's so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what does it actually feel like to change people's lives and be able to give away all this stuff and create such a fun environment? What does that feel like to be able to do that every day? Like, do you go home on this incredible high and not be able to go to sleep?
I've literally had nights where I've gone home from Bucks games or the home team, the hometown team, baseball team, the Brewers, where I would dress up as a big racing sausage sometimes, and then we would go and meet with kids and so these kinds of things. I would have entire car rides back to my house when I could not stop smiling. I would have nights where it would take me hours to fall asleep because it's almost a full awareness of this might be this person's only sporting event or concert. Make it as memorable as possible for them, and you'll be imprinted on their brains forever. So try to make an effort to imprint them on your own brain forever, and that's without a doubt what I've done with SACHA and the boys.
Yeah, I love that.
Or SONYA and the boys. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We're interchangeable. It's completely fine.
I'm Jacob. My brother's Jackson. My mom messed that up this morning at brunch.
Yeah. So. And I've heard this story so much. I actually feel like I was there. So that's okay. You can say it was me and my boys. Just so, what do you think would be the next? Like, where is it from now for Jacob? Like, this experience. Like, where do you see? Because you've almost got to this incredible peak of your career at such an early age. So
at 24, yes.
Where else do you look? Like, what do you? Anyone else that offers you a job right now, you'd be like, nah. I don't know. Is that fun? I don't know. What else would give you the next high? Like, have you looked at things and thought, this would be the next stage for me? Or
well, I'm in that fortunate bunch of people on this earth where I love my hometown and where I come from. But working for the Bucks, I'm I could do this for the next 10, 15 years and be perfect. But I will tell you, if ESPN comes calling and they need an editor or a cameraman, you best believe goodbye, Wisconsin. Hello, Connecticut.
Yeah. Hello, take me there. Do you know what I love, Jacob, is when you talk about the Bucks, you say the Bucks family, and
yes,
that is exactly what it feels like when you're there and you see the way. I don't think I've ever seen a more cohesive team in terms of getting along with each other and the fun that they have. Like, Sasha, I don't know if you know this or not, but the Bucks have this great they film these clips where they pretend that they're WWE wrestlers before the games to get each other pumped up, and they're doing the fake body slams, and they actually fully commit to this, like they're the Rock or something,
They came to us and said, hey, Giannis and the Lopez brothers, they had this crazy idea where just for like team chemistry, we'll pretend, and for fan morale, we'll pretend to wrestle and the whole fan crowd ate it up immediately.
Oh,
they loved
it. They absolutely love it. But to watch that, I understand what you mean by when you say this is the Bucks family, because that's the essence of that is it should be in every team, and it's just not. Like, you can see that all of those players are joyful to be there, and they care about each other, and they really like each other. What you actually have at the Milwaukee Bucks is something extremely special, I think, that could be looked at by any team, even corporate teams. This is the kind of situation that you should have, so that everybody is on the same side and that working towards the same goal. You have much more success when you like each other and you understand and know each other in that way.
Yes, and the front office people and the ownership or the governorship groups, they do an exceptional job at not only making us feel like us as the production staff, making us feel like such an integral part of the team. And they pay us rather well as well.
Oh, I love hearing that. Love hearing that.
You had all of this stuff happen with lockdown. How did that affect you? Like, what happened? What was it like?
March 12th, 2020, when Commissioner Silver had said, okay, we're stopping it here, let's just reevaluate everything. We had a game that very next day, and we did not work that game. And then from then on, other sports leagues started to coincide with the NBA and say, hey, let's just take it slow. So there was a couple of months of just me at the house with the puppy. And the MLB did a phenomenal job. The Major League Baseball did a phenomenal job of slowly reopening it, because it's such a huge league. There's 40-odd 30-odd players on each team, and you've got all that travel. So they were able to get us into the stadium to work around June. We were able to be safe and shoot a little baseball. And I would say concerts started to pick up around mid-July, August. And then we had that second surge in mid-September because, our phenomenal leadership at the top, he did such a great job of protecting all of us.
Now, I shouldn't laugh because it's actually hideous, but I know what you're saying.
Horrible. Yes. But I will say that I think the NBA has been at the forefront of setting the example for how to keep athletes and fans safe. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what was it like getting back to work? Must be so exciting. And do you think how close do you think we are? What's going on over there, Jacob? What's happening in Milwaukee? Are you open? You were saying to me before off air that your family members are teachers and everything's been online learning since March. Are you telling me since March last year? So you've had almost a full year of homeschooling.
Yes, we are going. My mom and my stepfather are going on 1 year of homeschooling.
Oh.
And I can't imagine how that is.
Yeah, we can tell you. Do you want to know? No, you don't want to know.
I would love to know, actually.
You don't want to know. It's horrible.
Well, you could probably hear my kids in the background today.
One of them came and said hello in the camera before we started.
Oh, did he? Okay, yeah.
Adorable.
So it's crazy. And I guess we all have to be a little bit understanding of each other because, even with such a job like this, you kind of, if you have any idea how many times I've told my kids, please don't speak, I'm doing this particular thing, and then you press record and bang, everyone needs to talk at the exact same time, and so there has to be this understanding of everybody to understand that we're managing our families as well as what's going on at work. But you must have missed it because it's that vibe of the people that you must have missed so much. I mean, it's so different, but doing the job but not having the crowd there.
Yes. It was a palpable difference with those first few days back shooting baseball. There's nothing like having gone from being in a baseball stadium of 50 plus thousand to it's you and 200 people working, and most of them are inside the building, not in the bowl. It's like a ghost town. And kudos to the NFL for doing a pretty decent job of allowing fans in at a spread out vicinity. And yes, but like you were alluding to, Sasha, it's those first 2 years in television. I mean, being on stages in front of people and being in the court in front of people, it's like you see all these happy faces. It becomes almost drug-like, you just making people smile, and then it's gone. It's coming back slowly, but it'll be back in full.
There's nothing like that energy. You're speaking to two professional speakers, and we understand that you need that. We need the audience. You can't. It's not the same on here when you're speaking to a mass, a massive amount of people. So, what would be some highlights from your working career with the Bucks family and with the concerts that you've been doing? What would you say were the moments where you're like, oh, yeah, that was awesome?
Yes, I would say the night I met you folks, of course. I would also say there was a few times while I was working baseball for the Brewers, while I was dressing up as the racing sausages. The kids we would sometimes roam the concourse of the stadium, and kids would just run up to you and clamor all over you and ask you to sign their baseballs and their mitts, and just that glow of their face is great. I had a moment with one of the members of Hanson backstage, and he said the exact same thing Alex said to me. Hey, nice hair, dude.
Made my life. That hair. That's your trademark.
No. I've said this many times throughout my life. I might, do trims and things, get the back of my neck, whatever. But in terms of length, I'm never cutting my hair again.
Yeah, Jacob's got a very, very cool photo. Everyone needs to come onto the YouTube channel and the website and check out the clip of this. And so, what about the boys in the team? Do they interact with you guys? And what are they like when you hang out together?
Oh goodness, it's incredible how, especially even the superstars, even Giannis will, if he sees we've been there since 6 a.m. and we know it's going to be a long night, he'll come over to say hello, how are you doing, and things like that. I've had extensive conversations with Chris Middleton. I was able to do that. He was doing some warm-ups and I was laying some table, and we caught eyes and he came over, and there's also been times with the coaches. Even the coaches will come over and they'll genuinely say, I mean, you guys make the team look great, and the fans love that, and that energy seeps into the team. So we appreciate all the hard work you guys do.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. That really is. I love that our perception of what it is like is actually what it's like, from the top down, everybody's, across, not the top down, the top across, I'm going to say, because everybody is the same there. It's amazing. Oh, Jacob, we just thank you so much for your time today. What a beautiful insight into it's a sneak peek. We would not get this in Australia. The NBA is so far away from us. It's like we've sent a couple of good, decent players over there. We've got Ben Simmons and we've had John Bogut and we've got
Bogut. Hey, Milwaukee Bucks, Andrew Bogut. Hello.
Yeah. So
I'll tell you what though, if there's ever another country or continent to get an NBA team, I would say it would be Australia. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't reckon it would be an Asian country just yet. I would reckon it would be some kind of Western Pacific, maybe New Zealand, somewhere down there. But next 10, 15 years, the NBA is looking to expand globally.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go. I'm going to tell my son to start stepping it up a little bit. I mean, it's the dream
for the Melbourne Tigers.
Yeah.
Melbourne Tigers.
Oh, they're going to love that, Jacob. You wait till I show the directing stuff there. I've never been so taken with somebody so quickly in a huge environment where you didn't have to do what you did, and you just made. I cannot tell you the number of times. It's weekly. My boys will talk about you weekly, and that experience. Honestly, it's something that will stay with us forever. And my husband doesn't get excited about anything. The last time he got excited was when his football team won the grand final in 1995. But that's the most excited I've seen him. And I've given birth to 2 children from that man. So there you go. That's how excited.
Yes.
You're so high up on the ranks, Jacob. So
glad to hear it.
Please follow the Milwaukee Bucks on social media, because when you look at that is my man Jacob's artwork that's going on there. And when you see the games, he is the one that is firing that crowd up and getting them up onto the not Megatron, Jumbotron, and making everybody feel happy. Jacob McCoy from the Milwaukee Bucks. We adore you. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you back in America soon. Hopefully we'll see you back once the crowd is opened back up.
Sasha and I are sleeping at the airport, and we will run like an Olympic sprinter to the plane when they open those up too.
We've got our passports waving.
Best believe.
Yeah. First person go, vaccinate us, get us out. What are you going to inject us with? I don't care, just put it in. Right?
Just get it in there, we don't mind. And give Riley a big smooch from us as well. Riley the super.
I will do that.
All right. You're the best. Thanks, Jacob.
All right. Much love. Much love. We'll talk to you very soon.
Sonia and Sasha, for real.
You're listening to BRIMBANK Live on Live FM. This is the Sonia and Sasha for Real show. Now, we have a very special guest, because all of our guests are special, and we didn't even have to stalk this one, Sash. We met him at an event, I think. Is that how it happened?
Oh, we just found him. We literally just found him and said, you
on the side of the street.
Friends. You will be our friend. I think that's how we found him. Like, we just saw him and went, oh, we like you. Will you be our friend?
Once you're in the circle, you don't get out. That's it.
Like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Once you get in, you're
The real story is that I was in the business meeting at the Intercontinental, and you 2 girls were sitting there having a coffee too, and you asked me, can you get me a coffee, I think?
Oh, did we really?
No, we didn't.
No, you didn't. I played it up.
You acted like you were a waiter.
Not there.
You weren't a waiter, because I said something and you said, yeah, I'll get you a coffee. And then I thought, oh, you're a waiter.
I played it up, absolutely.
And then we just hung out with you. Didn't let you go.
Can everybody please say a big, big, big hello to Greg Vales, super accountant, advisor, and has an accounting firm in Melbourne. We don't know anything about accounting and financial figures, and he's actually an accountant with personality, he calls himself. So please welcome to the show, Greg Vales.
Great to be here with you two. Fantastic.
Look at you. You've dressed up in a suit. You've got the hairstyle. I mean, you're always like, you just wake up like that, don't you, Greg?
I do. That's it. This is how it's my normal day.
I want to see
Bond.
what you look like in the morning. That's what I want to see. Like, I want a selfie as you wake up with a hangover and see what you really, really look like.
It's this.
Of course it is. And it's a perfect flick of the hair. But if everybody who can't actually see this on radio, they do need to just Google you just to check you out on Insta and check out who you are. Now, Greg, we are struggling, okay? We have had the craziest year with COVID and business and jobs and insecurity and everything that we've had come at us. How can an accountant actually help us in this really, really tough time that we've been through?
I think it's so important to, particularly in your business, in what you do, is to reach out to your accountant. I mean, all of my clients I spoke to before the first lockdown, and I explained them gave them strategies on what to do, and that is to keep their costs down, be aware of their cash flow, and just survive for about a 6 to 8 month as if no income was coming in, and just make sure that you could operate in that world. And 95% of them did that, and they survived quite well. And others that didn't, we've had to manage it. But it was just about understanding the environment. And what I did talk to a lot of them about is about the importance of diversification, also looking, maybe retraining and looking at other things that they need to be doing, more reliance on the technology and what the rest of the states are doing and global. So it's made people actually change the way they do business now. And if you look at some people can look at it quite negatively. I looked at it very positively of how people can work in different areas and how we can make our businesses better and what we have to do. And this is the changing world. And we need to be able to adapt very, very quickly and on point.
Did you actually find that as well as giving accountancy advice that you're almost a therapist as well?
Well, most definitely. I mean, you guys know that I'm on the chairman of Outside the Locker Room, and we look at suicide prevention with Jake Edwards, and that was absolutely prevalent. In fact, I spoke to two clients that were quite well heeled, that had some really healthy, mental health issues, and they wanted to deal with it. And we had breakfast, and I was able to provide them with some limited knowledge I had, but then was put them to a specialist to assist them. So there was a lot of that going on, and just listening to people's hurt, and also those that were doing well also wanted to help those that weren't. So there was a lot of that as well. So there was some positivity come out of it in many ways.
Explain this to me, Greg. I don't understand this, right? Everyone's saying that, there's a lot of businesses that are struggling, that, we went into a recession. Is that right, for a period of time? But then our clearance rates for real estate, our housing prices are going up. It seems like financially Australia seems to be quite fit at the moment. That's the message that I'm getting, and I certainly don't know what I'm talking about. But is that right? No,
Sonia, really astute. I mean, we've been very, very fortunate we're a very, very lucky country. I know people keep saying we're in big in debt and everything, but we are an extremely wealthy and comfortable country. And I think also the Morrison government, I've got to give them some, without being too political, they, with the JobKeeper, what they did so quickly, how they've also put some infrastructure build and some structures in place. I think it's been absolutely enormous. Also, to shut the borders the way that they did has helped and assisted us in so many ways. And we've now realised that we've got to try and be as self-sufficient as possible and be very, very strategic about what countries we can and can't deal with. And I think we've been very, very astute in that. So our learnings So what's happened too is people have saved their money. They haven't been travelling, they haven't been spending everything, and then they realise, well, maybe I should buy another property, or maybe I should do this. And there's been enormous fluctuations. I mean, I had a client that sold his property in Camberwell, and all the families redirected to Queensland. I mean, there's been all of this other shifts in people's thoughts and whatever stages of their life they are. And it's brought forward their plans. So we make no doubt, Sonia, we are a very, very healthy and fortunate country. And we are going to get better and better and better. There's no question about it. It's just that we have to work out very strategically who we're going to deal with.
What do you think the impact will? Yeah, I was about to say. What do you think the
JobKeeper? Because, like, you know, I feel like there are people going, "Oh, it's going to finish in March, and is it going to get extended?"
Yeah.
That people are getting really stressed about it. I just really feel like the fact that JobKeeper's on the, like, almost the dangling the carrot in front of them.
Well,
what's going to happen with that?
Well, JobKeeper's been outstanding. It finishes at the end of March. There will be some sectors that are going to feel it enormously, and that is people like in the travel industry, the tourism and hospitality, particularly in Victoria. So governments are going to have to find some solutions for those areas that are very much exposed, and now they need to be selective in assisting who they are, and they need to prop it up. That will be an issue. There's other employers that are saying, well, JobKeepers are paying now because people don't want to come to work. I mean, so that's why there's a reason to end it, and there's a reason then to be selective about the industries that need it, and then maybe even propagate and put some more money into infrastructure spend, put more stimulus and create more jobs. But basically, I think there's going to need to be some assistance to those industries that are going to be quite hit, and that's, of course, the tourism industry.
Absolutely.
Hospitality.
And what do you think that we can do? Just the average, you know, person out there who's maybe got their own business or, you know, is got, because it seems to be we're living in really uncertain times here, especially here in Victoria. We've just, you know, had that snap lockdown, and we potentially could have more of these. We're in and out of this kind of situation. So what are some of the ways that we can help to protect our financial situation, you know, going forward in this environment?
Well, I think, as I said to people, if you're running businesses, I mean, just keep your war chest, you know, save your money, cut your costs, keep an eye on how you're running your business, know where every dollar's going, and just run it lean until you to be able to survive again. And it's just being very strategic. The accountants and understand your numbers, understand maybe what you have to maybe diversify. Understand whether your industry is going to be the industry that you have to stay in for some time. I mean, this is maybe a real time to check on where your future is, and have a chat to the professionals about that.
That's the hard bit, because some people that are in an industry that they absolutely love now have to completely diversify or completely change, like within the tourist or hospitality industry, to think of someone that's got a great passion for it to then say, we have to move to somewhere else. That's heartbreaking in itself.
It is, Sash. But I think what you could do is that maybe find that diversification for the interim to be able to survive and keep your foot in the door to be able to, because one of our, as you know, one of our best industries is the tourism industry, and that's going to come back, and the hospitality and the food. That's just going to, especially when we're allowed out, everyone was going to every restaurant that you could. We were really, you know, and that's going to come back again. So just try and manage the situation for the time being that you can survive for the period that you need to, and also have another skill set just in case. That's all. I mean, just don't give up on your dream.
Can you imagine when they open the borders how tourism will skyrocket? Like, literally you'll go from a zero industry to boom, because all those people, because you've got it, like, realistically we've got this group of people that have, you know, like people that have worked for the government or people that have been able to sustain their jobs the entire time. They've literally kept this whole country going all the time and been making money, and they're not spending anything because they're not going anywhere. They're just going to go, let's book every holiday known to mankind, because now they've got money.
And that's fantastic. And there's so much of Australia to explore. You know, you ever look at people, a lot of people who are Australian haven't done a lot of Australia. And it's a great opportunity for Australians to spend all their money in Australia. Do it. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah. And isn't it interesting how there's been some industries and some businesses that have just gone boom with this thing? Like, you know, they've exploded. Like I think just as an example, Australia Post was struggling severely, weren't they? They had to put the stamp price up because, you know, they were like, no one's writing letters anymore. Everyone's emailing everything. And then all of a sudden, Australia Post, I mean, just the bloke that comes to my house is very busy. You know what I mean? So,
no, there's absolutely. And then this is right. And there's some people who've done created opportunities. I mean, even like a client that owns a bakery in one of the suburbs, it's gone through the roof because everyone's staying at home and going to get fresh bread. Fantastic. His business has gone through the roof. You know, that's wonderful stories. There are those. I mean, and we encourage that and foster that. So, but it's about finding that balance. And maybe, as I said, there are going to be creation of jobs in different areas that are going to need it, because especially when people aren't coming from overseas, there's going to be more opportunities in that sense. So people need to think about, maybe I'll go and do that for a bit till this comes good. I mean, there's that.
Do you think you've had more clients that have had great stories than negative stories? Like when you hear of that bakery, do you just go, wow, like, you know, I've been working with that baker for years. He's making, you know, 100 loaves of bread a day. That's what he sells. That's what he does. And all of a sudden he's like 500 loaves a day, and, you know, like his business is skyrocketed and all of that. And you just think, we could never think of how we could do this. And then something like this has come in, and it's just been the greatest thing that's ever happened to it.
Well, absolutely. And there's another one. There's another client of mine, Yarra Valley Gourmet Foods, and she's in the Yarra Valley, of course, and she does all these jams and all these exotic, connoisseurs of
chutneys,
etc.
I love a good chutney.
She does all that. She's gone through the roof because people are cooking at home and they're wanting to buy all the condiments and the products and everything. So there's been some magnificent good news stories. So I think the reason why I've probably had a lot more good news stories is that my clients were listening to what I said, and listening, I'm not just saying to me, but any professional, but listening to the right professional can assist you, because they're great at what they do, and the ones that are very good know what they don't know. And the ones that know what they don't know really come in and get that expertise to know that they needed this understanding to survive, and that's what gets them through. So that's the secret to having your business, is knowing what your great strength is. So I don't tell a client how to sell their product. They know that better than me, but I'll tell them how to have all the infrastructures in place and how to diversify and maybe look at other strategic markets. And look, CEOs of organisations come to me for advice because they need sounding boards, because they don't have it within their own thing. So, and I tell it to them like it is. So that's what they appreciate, and I think, and they're smart enough to know what they don't know as well. So that's the key.
Yeah. And you know what? We need to say thank you to all of our financial people and to the accountants out there, because I know that you have all been working your butts off to save your clients' businesses. And I know that, you know, that we've got friends that are accountants as well, and they've been doing crazy hours just to keep everybody afloat. So we need to say thank you, because I don't think people say that to you all. So thanks for giving us the great advice. Thanks for working so hard to make sure that we survive this whole thing, and taking over the stuff that we don't know, because Sasha and I know that the calculator on the phone is our friend when we talk about numbers, and that's about it.
And the behind-the-scene research that you've had to do, like you've had to learn all of these new structures that the governments are bringing in and what's happening. So the minute something comes out, you've got to be on top of it to understand it, so that then when someone like us comes to you and says, explain it to me like I'm a 2-year-old, you then are able to explain it, you know, very, very easily, and we understand it. But I'm sure that comes to you in a 100-page document that even you go, what are you going on about, mate? You know what I mean?
Hold on. And sometimes it's policy on the run. But I've got to tell you, they did a great job with the JobKeeper. They really did. I mean, they've saved so many businesses, and people should really, really understand that. And look, and to a lot of my colleagues out there who've done wonderful jobs, like you said, Sonia, and they've done enormous hours, and some of them haven't been able to to collect on those hours.
True.
If people aren't, so there is.
Yep.
But always, just as a note, and I say this always, that in industries there's good and bad. So you've got to be vigilant about who's giving you the advice and how capable they are. And usually that's from the clientele that they have that's propped them up. Okay, so just be careful. I mean, sometimes not everyone's going to give you the right advice, and be conscious of that. And that's in any industry, as we know.
Yeah, true story. Well, we love all of the information that you've given us today. We love you. You're like the James Bond of accountants. You're so smooth. Such a smoothie. We love you. Thanks, Greg Bales.
Spunky. Gorgeous. You guys need to look, whatever. If you're not going to get some financial advice from you, Greg, you need to check out your Insta because you are a hottie.
We love it.
Bales, GREGVALLES. Check him out on Instagram because he is so cool. And you might actually get a little bit of financial advice in the background, but if not, you'll definitely know how to pump some iron at the end of that. It's been an absolute pleasure learning this stuff from you and speaking to you and knowing from us. We just want to say thank you because you've always been an incredible sounding board for us, and that's just so important to have in your life, to have such good friends. So thank you. So from Vales Accountants, you need to check this guy out.
And I just want to thank you two beautiful souls. I've been following you for a long time and love what you guys do, and really about the way that you operate with the kids as well, and what you have to offer the book. The substance of what you two do is enormous, and it's not to be underestimated how many kids you're reaching to and saving. So equally as a great job, guys. Well done.
That's amazing. Thanks, lovely. We appreciate you. Greg Vales, Vales Accountants, superstar.
Love
See
you
soon.
too. Bye.
You're listening to BRIMBANK Live on Live FM. This is the Sonya and Sasha For Real show. We'll see you soon.
Sonya and Sasha, for real.
You're listening to BRIMBANK Live on Live FM. This is the Sonya and Sasha For Real show. We have a very special guest. They're all special. And I don't even know how we got this guest. This is how special it is. Usually we stalk. We're very good. We're CIA level. But I don't know exactly how we've done this. This is over to Sasha. So go, Sasha. Tell us.
Okay, so I get in an Uber. I get in an Uber to go pick up my car because my car breaks down. Get in an Uber. Uber driver goes, hey, how you doing? Like the friendliest Uber driver.
Oh, 5 stars straight away.
5-star Uber driver starts chatting away, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing we're just chatting about our life. He says, what do you do? I said, what do you do? Da, da, da. He said, I'm trying to start up a podcast with one of my friends. He's done some stuff in the Olympics. Who's your friend? And I'm like, who's your friend? Straight away, I'm in the back. Stalking the friend straight away. I've made friends with the driver. By the time I've got to my destination, I've made friends with him on Insta and his friend. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't get any more. I'm fast at these things, right? Checking this guy out, and then I'm like, Sonya, we need to get this guy's full on. We need to get him on our show now.
Yes, of course.
We need to tell you all about this guy because very, very special. Like what this person has experienced and where they are now. It's just so special. And when I stalked / Googled him, I was very, very inspired by it, okay? Oh. So his name, okay, I'm going to do my best to pronounce this, is Negmadin Peter Bol. Okay, I'm going to take you back. He was born in Sudan. He fled from a civil war at 4 years old. He was taken to an Egyptian refugee camp at 4 years old. Then he migrated to Toowoomba. Then he migrated to Perth where he went to school and he met a teacher. So he was playing basketball. He was good at basketball. Then a teacher said to him, listen, buddy, I reckon you should give running a go. How about you try this 800-metre thing going again? And guess where that took him? The Olympics. Could we please give a massive round of applause to Peter Bol?
Welcome to the show. I love that. So there's a bit of that you did in-person stalking. In-person stalking, Sarge. In-person in an Uber, travelling. You've taken it to another level. I'm inspired by that.
Are you okay with the fact that I stalked you in an Uber with your friend, Peter?
It's the best story. I'm all for this. stories and experiences. So
Beautiful.
bravo to you.
Oh, well, you
Yeah.
know, I'm not going to, and then not just that, we stalked him every day. Can I have an interview? Da, da, da. Like, this was only a few days ago that I picked up my car. Do you know, I think I've chatted to him every day. Are you free today? Are you free today? Are you free today? Da, da, da. So, Peter, tell us about this incredible journey that you've had.
Yeah, so it's been quite an interesting one, actually. It's been moving pretty fast at the same time. So as you said, just to shorten it a bit, I was born in Sudan, obviously, so Sudanese background. Relocated to Egypt and then Toowoomba, Perth, and now in Melbourne. So I'm used to moving quite a bit, which is
Wow.
which is cool. But I think starting track and field was one of the best things I've did, because I think I was on an interview a while ago and I just got back from Monaco and they said, what's the best thing about running? Well, I said, if I wasn't, I wouldn't actually be visiting the rest of the world or all of that stuff. Like, I mean, the medals are great, the winning is great, but the experiences is like, it's awesome, right? You get to you get to see the world, you get to meet new people and all of that. So there's so much to it outside of just running itself. So I think that's the thing that people don't really know, because what I share is basically the running part. But if we're speaking like this in a personal level, then you get to know a little bit more, which is pretty cool, I think.
It absolutely is. And we're so fascinated. So can we go back a little bit, back in the day? Take us back to Sudan, and what are your memories of being there? And it sounded like you were only 4 years old when you left.
So I think with that question I think it's more relevant to, I was actually quite lucky to be with my family. I've got a big family, my parents, so they'd be remembering a lot more than I would. I mean, I was 4, so at a young age, you don't really have many problems, or you don't see too much. I think your parents do a great job of hiding all of that.
Yes.
And I mean, when I came to Australia, I didn't think I was any different to anyone else. I didn't think I had a bad life at all. I had a great life all coming up to Australia. So I think my parents, I guess, give credit to them. But yeah, I don't remember much, and I haven't actually been back since I got here. So
do you want to go back?
Yeah, 100%. I've been to South Africa, and that was great just to be back in the continent itself. So I guess now with COVID it's a bit hard, but that's one of my goals, to go back for like 3 months or so. Would be pretty cool.
What about the Egyptian refugee camp? Like, wow, that's that would have been an interesting experience.
Egypt itself, it's interesting, but at the same time, it wasn't as big as change as coming to Australia, because with Egypt, it's a neighboring country to Sudan. So the language is the same. The culture is kind of similar. The people are obviously different, but when you have to learn a new language as coming to Australia, you had to learn a completely new language. So Egypt was kind of a little bit easier for me anyways, but for my parents, I think it was a lot harder, because they had to work pretty hard to try to get us out of there.
Yeah.
But for me,
How long were you there? How long were you in the Egyptian refugee camp for?
I was in Egypt for 4 years.
Oh, so you spent from 4 to 8. So you would have some memories of being in the camp there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. You came to Australia when you... Sorry. Well, did you come to Australia when you were 4?
No, so I left Sudan when I was 6. Spent 4 years in Egypt, and then I was here by 10.
Oh, okay. So you would actually have some strong memories from being in that camp. What was it like?
It was cool. I had my brothers. I grew up with my brothers, so I mean, we have good memories of just a lot of sports, a lot of playing around, and school and all that stuff. So I think the most memory I had was just being with my family, because we're pretty close, and my brothers.
How many in your family? Yeah.
Four brothers, and then one sister, but she was born here in Australia.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, so that's a big family, and that's
4 brothers. Your parents, we have 2 boys. Let me tell you, do we not look tired? Right? I'm thinking, raising 4 boys, your parents must be exhausted.
Yeah, I don't think it's an easy task. So credit to them.
And pretty amazing that you all got to be together and all leave the country together. I mean, a civil war in Sudan is not a pleasant experience to have. And, there was lots of people that were lost to that war. So being able to be together as a family is seriously a special thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's why when you look back, you don't really look at the struggle. You look at the I guess, the good things, and the good things is we're all together.
I really love that. I love that you've said that it was such a positive experience for you. My son was in grade 6 last year, and we read as a class, and I say we because we were homeschooling, so I was reading the damn book as well. It's called A Long Walk to Water, and it was about a boy who was in southern Sudan and was forced to leave, and he was the same thing, Egyptian refugee camp. He made it, across the Nile and got into the camp, and then was relocated to the USA. And, it talked about, just the devastation that he experienced and losing his family members and, being out and having to walk for days and days and days without water or food or any of these kinds of things. And I love that your experience, your parents were strong enough and could hold it together enough to create like a good experience for you. So when you think back about those times, it's not negative for you at all, which is amazing.
Yeah, I think they were quite lucky. I mean, so many people were super unlucky and unfortunate. And I think we were one of the really lucky ones. And that's evident of being here right now. So
where do your parents live now?
Perth.
Oh, they're in Perth. So then, so you go to Toowoomba. Okay. Now, everywhere in Australia to end up Toowoomba, it's like
I don't think it was much of a choice. And I mean, if it was Toowoomba or Perth, it wouldn't have been much of a difference for us being here. Firstly, it's just a completely new place. So I think I was kind of glad it was Toowoomba because it was friendly. There was a lot of Sudanese there, so there was a lot of culture. It was a nice place to start off with. I think if I was just stuck into Melbourne straight away, it would have been a huge difference.
Yeah, of course.
Toowoomba was cool. Nice.
Like a friendly country town where everyone says hello and, nods their head as you walk past and that kind of thing. That's a good place to be. That's a nice place to start off in. So where did the passion for running start? Where did that come from?
I never actually had passion for running. It was something that I was good at, and I just pursued to be fitter because I figured like, if I was fitter, I could play more basketball games. And And then I just happened to be good at it, and I just took it with the help of a teacher. So I did that.
Oh my goodness! And then you got so good at it that you just happened to pop into the Rio Olympics. That's all, just the Rio Olympics. Like, tell us about what it takes to train and get yourself Olympic ready.
I think every athlete has like a unique and different story. For myself, because I got to the games pretty quickly, because I got to the games within 5 years of starting the sport.
Wow. So how old were you when you were at Rio?
22.
Yes. Wow. What an experience. Okay. Yeah. So tell us about that.
So because I got there, I was pretty unexperienced. I've never represented Australia in any other sports or any event before. It was my first international team. And the way I got there was just by training and enjoying it. But then later on, you find out there's more than just training hard. There's like nutrition, there's sports psychology, there's physios and all that stuff. So I was quite new. So it was a huge experience for me at the start because I wasn't used to it. But now, 4 years later, I'm quite experienced. I've been to 2 world championships and I've been overseas since 2015 every year. So the experience is different.
That's incredible. Wow. Tell us about what it's like to walk into the stadium at the Rio Olympics, and what does that feel like?
The village was my favorite because
because it's party. That's why it's party central in the village.
So you're like the auditorium. No, whack me in the village. That's the fun bit, right?
The village it's quite an experience because there's massive parties and stuff like that, which you got to get amongst. And then 2, there's also every other athlete there that you booked up to. And being a basketball fan, like I saw Patty Mills, I saw Tony Parker, Klay Thompson, and seeing all these athletes right there with you, which is great. And then 3, like I don't usually get too excited about food, but if it's free, it's quite exciting.
we feel that. Yeah.
We're talking to the eating champions. Yeah. So hang on. So it was really good free food, was it?
Yeah, it was awesome, and it's 24/7, and like vending machines didn't cost money. Like it was quite cool.
Vending machines that don't cost money.
Yeah, so you just press and they just come out. It's like, it's awesome. But then again, you can kind of get out of your shell and get pretty distracted pretty early, which I think I did, and which is fine because it was my first games, and that's why you got to be. No one jumps into the Olympics straight away. They go to World Juniors, Commonwealth, and they learn those things. I just had the hard task of learning it at the Olympic Games, which is not a bad thing either.
Hard task, really tough. Sorry, I feel bad for you. Poor thing.
What a good lesson. What a good
Poor
lesson.
thing.
I went to the Olympic Games. I partied a little bit hard. I didn't do as well as I thought, but oh my God, did I have the best fun ever. Like that's the story that you tell when you're really old. Did you win a medal? Like, did you win gold? Nah, but I partied so hard.
Let me tell you about this vending machine. Let me tell you about this vending machine that I
Let me tell you about everybody else that I was hanging out with. Like that, do you know what? That's what life's about. Like that's what life's about feeling alive and feeling good and learning those experiences. Those other things, they're just for everybody else to see. These are private memories that you say, you'll never take these away from me. And as time gets on and you get older and, you know, people put that pressure on you to, you know, get this medal or get this achievement, all of that, then you'll get less of the other stuff. So good on you for getting the good stuff, we say.
Of course. And I was once, I did a school talk to a primary school. I do quite a bit of school talks, and I was doing one with a primary school, and primary school kids have so many questions.
Yes.
And one
we
kid
know.
pops up his hand and he said, "Excuse me, sir, how many medals have you won in your time?" And he's talking about like state medals, national medals and everything. And I'm like, I don't really know. And then he puts his hand up again. He's like, well, how many races have you lost? I said, I have no idea. And then he pops his hand up and I'm getting annoyed at this kid. He's like, well, how many races have you won? I said, well, I have no idea. And then that was a great lesson because moving from Perth to Melbourne, like all the medals I had, I never got them. I never took them back with me. And I don't even remember how many races, wins and losses that I've had, but I do remember all the experiences, like the vending machine, you know, the food courts and meeting people. So the experiences are actually like the main things.
Absolutely.
And it's only when you grow up and when you understand life that you understand that that's the essence. That's the part that really makes you feel good. And to be able to talk to you and to have that stuff and to have these incredible experiences, and then you take it back to basics and you go, it was the vending machines that were amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just go, this person's real and down to earth and honest and humble and remembers where they come from, because nobody gets a free vending machine. You know, and we all know how much we have to beg our parents for money to put in the vending machine. Like, you know, my mum would never have given me money to just go in the vending machine. So if I had a free one, my childhood would be getting all of that feedback, you know. Okay, so now let's talk about the fact that you were going to Tokyo Olympics and then that got cancelled. How did that feel?
I was actually excited, and I was probably in the best shape leading up to it. Starting the season early in about Jan, I won every race that I got into, and it was looking good for the Olympics. And then it got postponed, and you know the emotions, you know, it's normal because it's supposed to you're supposed to kind of hurt a little bit because you've trained for a while. But then you realize it's like, well, I didn't miss out on the Olympics by myself. Like everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's obviously, it's a bigger problem. It's a world problem, and it's and we kind of got to get on top of it. So it's not about us anymore. It's about everyone, and that kind of keeps you at peace. And if you're at peace, then it's okay. But there's a few mistakes, you know. As soon as that got postponed, I went to Perth and I just stopped training for about 2 weeks. And
2 weeks.
I stopped. I stopped training for about 2 weeks.
Could you imagine if we stopped training for 2 weeks, Sonia? Nothing would happen. Nothing would change.
I just spent time with the family, which was great because if it wasn't, I don't think. I mean, last year was the most time I spent with my family since I left. So I mean, there was good things with it too. But yeah, at the same time, I think if the Olympics don't happen again this year, you know, if you learn anything, is to keep training through. I mean, you just got to be fit whenever it's ready or not.
It's so refreshing to speak to somebody who's just got a completely different take on being a professional athlete. Like, I just love, because every time that we've spoken to anybody, they're like, and you hear in the media, you listen to the interviews, they're like, right, they know exactly what they've done. They know exactly how many races, they know exactly how many seconds, they know, like all of the, and I've got to train this and that. It's just, you're so different, Peter, because you've got this really cool, it's going to be okay. It'll be all right. If it happens this year, then it's okay. I'm still training. I'm still having a good time. I know that in Tokyo, there's going to be, amazing vending machines. So I'll get there eventually. It'll be all right. This is a really different attitude.
Sushi vending machines, they will blow your mind. You'll be able to get anything you want.
I'm telling you. Teriyaki.
There must be, gyoza.
I know.
We've just got off it. Could you imagine, Sonia? Could you imagine?
Or a prawns. Come on, Sash.
We could just go, I'll have that salmon teriyaki with a couple of gyozas on the side. Beep, beep, beep.
D5. Down it comes. I love it. Sorry. We're very, can you tell we're a little bit hung up on the whole vending machine idea? No, but this is really different. Now, what about this attitude of this athlete psychology? You're a runner, so you're by yourself. So your brain, your belief in yourself, your different voices that will be talking to you as you're running along plays a really important role, I would imagine, in how well you're going to do in this sport. So how do you get all those things in line when you're out there, you're by yourself? It's not a team thing. It's all about your psyche, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the best way is if you prepare pretty well, you reduce a little bit of nerves. And at the same time, I think if you've over-prepared or you kind of get a little bit too stressed or a bit too nervous. And I think the best thing with that over the years I've realized is those are normal, nerves are normal and everything. Rather than trying to avoid them, is just to learn to control them. And controlling comes with experience. So, the first 3 years, I'm getting more nervous and more nervous and more nervous. But fifth, sixth year, the nerves are reducing. I'm getting more confident, more experienced, training a little bit more, racing a little bit more. So experience is number one. Two is intentionally trying to work to it. So intentionally trying to control your nerves and working on other mental stuff. The internet's probably your best friend. You don't even need to see a sports psychologist. So you could search stuff and apply them. If it doesn't work, then just try another thing. And if that doesn't work, and whatever works, you just write it down and try it. So you just, I guess, trial and error, really.
There must have been so many athletes that were absolutely crushed and probably even experiencing some sort of depression from the fact of COVID and Tokyo not going ahead. We've been fortunate enough to meet some athletes and understand the things that they've experienced when they've lost or they've not got to be able to be chosen in that team or something, and what the effects of that is. So the fact that you're completely on the other side where you're like, okay, I get it, it's a worldwide thing, I understand. I think that's going to be a great foundation for you when finally Tokyo does actually go ahead, and it's going to be that less pressure for you when you are actually running. It's almost like you're in balance and you're running without all that stress, whereas other people would have the stress of that and they've got their family and their coach and all of this stress on top of them. And that's the conversations that they have in their mind when they're, competing, rather than almost going with your true inner soul self. What do you think of that?
Well, one, the truth is, if it's not under your control, then, we can't really do much about it. But at the same time, I think too, everyone is in a different boat. So I know some athletes that maybe that's their last Olympics. So it's kind of devastating that they peak. So, if I was on that boat, it would be kind of different. And there's other athletes, that are planning to have babies and families. That's another factor. So I don't think my approach is the best or anything. I just think everyone's in a different boat and everyone needs to deal with it the way they think is best to deal with it. And for me right now, because I'm still quite young, and so it's probably that's why it's not hitting as hard. I can still train through if it's happened next year. But if you're like, that's your last Olympics and you're peaking for it, then I can understand. So I guess just take time and process it, really.
You've just got it all in front of you. You've got it all in front of you. And so you can there's nothing but positives to look forward to, really. What do you say to yourself when you're at the starting line?
At the start line, I don't say much. I'm kind of quite calm. I get nervous before, and then when I get to the track, it's just like calm, which is cool.
Very cool.
And it's just like, I'm ready to go, you know. I'm generally not nervous. When I get to the track, it's like, all right, I know where I'm at. It's time to get to work. And then you just kind of say to yourself, you just warm up and you do normal things. If you're listening to music, lyrics or something like that. But I just like to be like calm and in the moment, not to think about anything, because in sport like athletic, if you think too much, especially when you're racing, that's like half a second you're wasting, and half a second is between first and fifth. So you're gonna be just on like in the zone, make moves when you can, and not even think about it. It's got to be automatic.
Right. So you just let your training and your body take over at that point in time. There's no one's talking to you in your head. It's just, I know what to do.
My best races is when I've done that.
Really?
You know? And then probably my worst race is when I've just overthought it and was overthinking. I was like, should I move here? Should I make this move? And by the time I've made that decision, someone's already made it, and you kind of boxed in.
Yeah, got you. So you're like in a yoga kind of Zen state when you're running. Like, I mean, that's what the yogis are telling us to do, is like have a zero going on in your quieten down the chatter and just you've got it. That's your best race, is when you're a yogi.
It's something like I didn't have anything to call it, but now I do. So yeah.
You're welcome. Please take it. You just have to credit me. That's all.
Sonia and I have said that on our gravestone, it's going to say she finally let it go, because we're going to be like, just let it go. But it's one of the things that my mum would always say to me is that when you're at that moment and you've done everything that you possibly can to prepare and the opportunity has shown itself, you then have to let it go and allow your body and your mind to do what it's been training to do, and then let it go, let the result go, because you've just done everything that you can possibly do to here. And you know, we try that to practice that stuff, but the fact that you've got it so early in your life and in your career, in your athlete, you know, your professionally athlete career, just says where you're going, and the fact that you'll be able to mentor so many people after that, because there's almost, you know, once you've got there, there's this other part of going after my career's over to be able to teach this mindset, because that mindset can take you absolutely anywhere in life.
Thank you.
Oh, I think it's incredible.
A special human being.
Yeah.
You're absolutely special human being, because people spend a lifetime trying to get it and they don't get it. And for you to have got it and notice when you lose it and when you get it just shows that and people will be attracted to want to be around you because of the energy that you give off. Sonia, we must be doing good energy, because look what we just picked up. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we're pretty good. But you know what I love? I've been watching. Have you been watching any of the tennis, Peter? Have you been seeing any of the Australian Open?
Yeah, I was watching a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I've been watching Nick Kyrgios, and he is, you know, to me, I think that we just don't have enough characters in sport anymore. We don't have any, you know, silly, funny, you know, clearly having a good time. Like, everyone's so serious and so staunch about it. And here comes this dude who's peeing himself laughing on the court with his doubles partner, and who is yelling out crazy stuff while he's playing. And to us, I mean, to a lot of the, you know, the staunch Australians out there who watch sport, that's not right and it's not correct behaviour and tally-ho. To me, I think he's amazing. And I'm like, bring on those people who do handstands and crazy stuff. I want to see that. And I want to see people who've got the attitude like you have. You're having a good time. I'm a young man and I'm all right. I'm doing really well with this stuff. I'm going to have a great time while I'm doing it. And that is so evident. And you know what? We need more people like you in the sporting world to make us smile every day, is my vibe.
We are going to keep following you. and you know our level of follow. It's practically stalker, and I'm going to keep following your friends and all of their friends, and you know, before you know it, we're coming over for Christmas dinner in Perth with the family, right? And we're all going to Toowoomba just to feel the memories. You know, let's just stay in touch, because it's just going to be. I can't wait to watch you. I can't wait to watch you grow, and it's just an absolute honour to have you here, you know, in front of us. And
thank you so much for having me.
Please don't forget us, okay?
No, thank you. It's been great. It's a lot of fun. It's really nice chat.
Well done. That is Peter Boll, who is going to be representing Australia at the Tokyo Olympics whenever they happen, and we will be all over that this year, next year. When we're 65, who cares? We don't care. Yeah. As long as we can get some teppanyaki and D4 in the vending machine, we'll be all right. All right, this is the Sonia and Sacha for Real show. We've just had the incredible Olympic runner, Peter Boll, and we will see you after the break. BRIMBANK Live FM, Sonia and Sacha for Real.
Sonia and Sacha for Real.